Hello, Aquarius. Thank you for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot by Melanie Marquis, illustrated by Scott Murphy. For the supportive oracle cards, the Angel Answers Oracle cards by Dorian Virtue and Bradley Valentine. Okay, I already shuffled, as usual. So let's see, what do we have for Aquarius? One. I feel like, alright. Now, I'm already getting like a backwards energy going on here, which makes me curious on why we're getting that. Yeah, I'm getting more of a backwards energy. And I feel like things are perceived that aren't really happening going in. Okay, so what are you talking about here? There's not an overall energy. It just seems to move forward with what's happening with you, what's actually happening, and then there's spottiness around you about what involvement is truly taking place. Now, I feel like there might have been some opportunities going in. A few different ideas of what was possible, but I'm noticing between the two, you and whatever you're working with, be it business, career, family, relationships, however this is hitting for you, between you and the other side, there's kind of like this stubbornness to not really give in to the other. And you're feeling like this is the best course of action. But I'm noticing it's a passive yes, which makes me feel like you're partly right. But the question is, why is it only partly right? And I'm wondering if it's only partly right because the stalemate is keeping anything from moving forward at first. A passive yes is usually like it's like a more subdued. It's almost like, yeah, that could work, that type of feel. And you and the other side seem to be like holding on. I am noticing there's like a vacancy on the other side here. There's no card here. So I feel like you might be holding strong to your values and what you feel is right, and you're not budging on it. You hold on to it long enough, though, that things do go the way you're feeling that they need to. Because I am seeing the Eight of Wands on your side with the mental activity. Mental activity? It's where how you're feeling. And the Chariot is right below it. So I feel like you're pushing it the direction you want to. You're creating this action to happen. And I feel like both of these cards are like really driving home that something's happening here and you're the initiator. I feel like that's what we want to say with these two cards together. Now, that being said, you have the environment does have two cards explaining how they're feeling and how they're reacting. On the outside, things are going well. You got the Two of Cups, and they seem to be very conducive. On the inside, they have the Hierophant, which means there's certain things they're not letting go of, and they're feeling the good of the situation, but they're also feeling a little subdued by it as well. But they're not. I don't feel like they're expressing this to you. They're pushing it forward like everything is fine and they're getting along, but there's like half and half. They're liking half of it, they're not liking half of it at the same time. But they're pushing forth to you like they're all on board and let's just go forward with it. They're not giving you pushback. So I feel like this is what's going to cause this next course of events. Because the first thing that happens, the Sun card, everything is going great. And you have the High Priestess, which this one, especially the way she's depicted, that book is always so strong for me. Well, not always. In this case it is, though, because I feel like there's a lot of like thought out action that you're still enforcing. And I feel like because you have the Major Arcana on your side, there's a Major Arcana actually happening in the line of action, which is the Sun card. You're very much creating this Sun card. You're keeping the Sun card active. So as long as you're pushing this forward and you're in control of the mental aspect of what's going on, it seems to survive in the land of the Sun here. Correct? Okay. Now, I feel like this isn't like depicted by a few days or a few weeks. Just depends how long whatever you're doing that you keep in that mindset and you keep in control of that. Because I don't feel like based on the situation, you might be only able to do that for so long because there's other things going on in your life. And other things might just take you away from the situation, whatever's going on. I'm feeling for the honest part, for most of you, it doesn't last all too long. And then one of the reasons I'm saying that is because the next line of action is the Nine of Swords. That sunny day comes to a crashing halt. And I feel like the other person, whoever you're dealing with, I feel like there's kind of like a vacancy there. Like they stop participating in some respect. And it causes things to kind of fall in. And one of the reasons they're doing this is because whatever part they didn't like, they're feeling overwhelmed with, or they're just feeling is unacceptable, and they're just stepping out. I get the not the right time on their side for the Oracle card, which to me, I'm noticing that person, or their hands like, I'm done. Like they're walking right away from it. And I'm seeing this here. Like if you see this, I don't know if you can see in there. There's kind of a person there with their arms up there. I don't know if you can really see it. I can't see it in the viewfinder all that well, but there's a person there, and then there's somebody sitting in front of them, and it says meditation brings answers, and I realize that. But I'm getting like this is depicting like you're the person sitting down here, and the other person's throwing their hands up like I'm done, and you're just kind of sitting there like what, like you're just kind of like what. Like why? What? Like what? Because everything was going so well, and I feel like you're kind of dumbfounded. You're like, but everything was going perfectly. Like why are you doing this? I feel like you're really kind of thrown, because things were going like you had the Sun card. Like you were happy, they were happy. Everything was going perfectly, and then the other person just throws up their hands and walks away, and you're just kind of like, why? Like why? You don't understand what happened. It's at this point, because I feel like you're listening at this point. You're completely in listening mode because it's a shock, for one. I really feel like it's a shock. And when this other person does this, the next part is you have the three things. You have one on each side. You have the Seven of Pentacles, which I feel like you're trying to figure things out, but you're continuing on the same effort in the sense of like you're trying to keep the situation going. But you're also very diligent trying to figure things out. You're thinking it through, but you're also taking action to keep the situation alive. But it's very stable. On the other side, you have the Judgment. And I feel like they're pushing forward what they're finding is deceptive. I'm getting deceptive. Like what they've been deceptive about, what they have not been telling you they don't like, they are telling you what they don't like. And you're getting this information about what they don't like, and you're processing it and trying to move things around so that they can be happy as well as you. It's bringing this air of hope between the two of you because they're communicating. I feel like the problem was they weren't communicating. For whatever reason, they weren't telling you what they were feeling or thinking, which caused the screeching halt. And then you kind of like come back at them with questions like why? Why did like everything was going so well? Can you explain to me why? And they do. I feel like they do explain to you why. This creates a better atmosphere. Now, based on the situation and what they don't really like, you have to go from there. Because I feel like that's going to make it a lot clearer about the longevity of the situation and what can or can't happen. But the whole purpose of this is because they need to talk to you. And hopefully there's a chance here in the beginning where you realize that they're going along and they seem like they're all in, but there's something like if they're not giving you pushback or not explaining how they really feel and they're just really overly agreeing and just smiling and nodding like a yes man, that's like a warning sign. And you might want to see if you can get into it then, and then maybe have a more stable up incline. Because I feel like that might be the whole point of this reading, to know that if you're both standing on opposite sides and they're not really budging, and then you push and then all of a sudden they weren't really agreeing completely before, all of a sudden they're really completely agreeing and it just seems a little off, that's your warning sign to like figure it out now, because it'll only be good so long before it comes to a screeching halt, and whatever they're holding back it will come forward sooner or later. It's just there's going to be like a brick wall if it's not dealt with now rather than later. I don't know if that came out right. There's going to be a brick wall if you don't deal with it now. It's going to happen later. Brick wall. Okay. Correct? Okay, good. All right, I think we said what we needed to say there. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email at jamesforastral@gmail.com. James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.